Breaking news tonight, a former Portsmouth police officer convicted of voluntary manslaughter. About a half hour ago, the jury recommended a sentence for Stephen Rankin of 2.5 years.
And the judge has decided to let Rankin remain out on bond until his formal sentencing.
We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty of first-degree murder or second-degree murder, but guilty of voluntary manslaughter.
Our team coverage continues outside the courtroom. 10 on your side's Liz Kilmer was out with me most of the day. She was there outside as sentencing came down. Liz, what's going on out there now? Have people started to leave the courthouse?
Deanna, well, it's quiet here now, but moments ago, William Chapman's family walked out. His mother, Sally, was escorted by loved ones. She wasn't at this time able to comment. It was definitely, from what we could see in the courthouse, a very emotional day for her. We did, however, minutes ago speak with Earl Lewis. He's been the family spokesperson through all this, and he told us that he believes justice has been served, as we've been reporting. And as you just said, the jury reached a verdict today. They found former Portsmouth police officer Stephen Rankin guilty of voluntary manslaughter. After that, they then spent about 2 hours coming up with a sentence recommendation, and that, as you said, was 2.5 years. They could have recommended up to 10 years. We're told that the judge will make a final determination during a sentencing hearing. That date hasn't been set just yet. Meantime, we're hearing that Rankin's attorney does plan to appeal. My colleague Andy Fox is speaking with him any minute now. We're going to have more from him and more from William Chapman's family coming up tonight on Wavy News 10 at 10 and 11. I'm live in Portsmouth. Liz Kilmer, 10 on your side.
Liz, thank you. And as Liz was mentioning, Sally Chapman walked away without talking. Very emotional. It was obviously a very difficult day for her in court. As that verdict was read, I was sitting in the courtroom and she fell forward, collapsed, just in just a sense of emotion. Her family has been waiting 14 months for a verdict, and at least according to the family spokesman Earl Lewis, for them, this is justice.
Yeah, and speaking of the verdict, here's what led up to today's verdict. It started last year on April 15th when police received reports of a shoplifter at the Walmart on Frederick Boulevard. Then, minutes after getting that call, Officer Rankin shot and killed William Chapman. Now, 4 months later, Virginia State Police completed their investigation and handed it over to the Commonwealth's attorney in Portsmouth. 3 days later, she sought an indictment against Rankin. Then, in September, Rankin was charged with first-degree murder. Now, that led to months of motions and the prosecution and defense going back and forth in court. Last month, the judge denied a change of venue, and last week, the trial got started.
And moments after the jury read the verdict, our cameras here was what I was just talking about when William Chapman's mother, Sally, got very emotional, weeping in the courtroom. You can see her head is down. She was sort of rocking back and forth, being consoled by her family members. And then after that, but before the jurors went back to debating Rankin's sentencing, he addressed the jury and had this to say to Chapman's family.
I think this is a terrible tragedy. I wish it never happened. I wish none of this had ever occurred. I can't begin to fathom how much pain that family's going through after losing a loved one. I wish I could have done more than I did to try and keep him alive. I did everything that I could, and I wish that none of this had ever happened.
And Deanna, as you mentioned, a very emotional day, and we've only just scratched the surface of Rankin's sentencing. We have complete coverage on wavy.com.
And head there, you'll find our full coverage from each day of the trial, my tweets, my blog from the courthouse. It's all there on our website.